already knows Sanji's personality because it's his personality when he was young. And so because of that, because they're the similar personality traits, he knows that he has to come off very harsh. If not, he will not listen to him, and it could risk both of their lives.
Hey. What the hell is this?
I call it true bluefin sauté.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Well, I call it crap. And the day that Brighty serves a dish like that little eggplant is the day that hell freezes over.
If I gotta sling one more prime rib medium well, I am going to drop dead of boredom.
Yeah, no one should have their meat that way.
That's what we serve!
It's an insult to the meat.
Look, you don't like cooking our menu, fine. Because I'll be more than delighted to give you some other work elsewhere.
What often happens when you look at relationships from the outside is you have your own judgments. So right away you can see that Sanji and Zeff, they don't get along. They seem to have this animosity between them. But sometimes relationships, I'm gonna have such a hard time with the hair in my face. You don't know what's actually happening on the inside. Sometimes people look like they're always fighting, but there's actually this amicable relationship underneath. And that's what makes the relationship between Sanji and Zeff so interesting.
I'm so hungry. Please. Okay, you got it, man. Have some nice corned beef fried rice sound.
What do you think you're doing?
A brautier everyone eats.
And who's gonna pay for that? This is a business. We can't be giving handouts to every down on his luck pirate that washes up.
If a man is hungry, I feed him.
And many times people are more than what you see them. It's that, giving someone 7 seconds. A lot of people that have kind of been hardened or weathered by everything that they've gone through come off with this really kind of prickly outer demeanor. But you don't know if underneath all of those layers of stay away from me and I'm dangerous and grr is actually someone soft and caring and warm.
Zeff kicked you off the line.
Yeah, well, I don't see the old man here, do you?
Your funeral.
I think that it also shows a lot about Sanji's character, how caring and passionate he is, how single-minded he is to what are his values, and that he's gonna get the job done no matter what. He has his own code.
You're not only a good cook, you're a good guy. If Zeff doesn't appreciate you, you should join my crew. I'm serious. For real.
Sorry, Joe boy, I've already got a job.
But you're not happy here. And we're gonna need a great cook if we're gonna find the One Piece.
The One Piece?
Yeah. I'm gonna find it and become king of the pirates.
You see that Sanji doesn't want to leave, that this is his place, his home. And again, a lot of times we make judgments about homes or households or what's happening inside of them without really knowing the many layers that go into very complex relationships. Many times there's much more beneath the surface. And sometimes when you see something as a cantankerous group of people, that doesn't mean that there isn't love. Different sets of people or different cultures deal with things very differently and show affection in different ways. In some cultures, teasing and being mean and bullying is actually shows of affection, and that's what they feel comfortable with. So even though it might not be your way of showing affection, everyone has different love languages, and to understand someone's love language then is to know when they care about you versus if they don't. For some people, they will only tease you if they actually like you, and that's a sign of true affection. And for other people, it'll be the opposite.
Right, are we done yet? You're lousy at it, but at least you do as you're told in this kitchen.
You see, you would expect Zeff from his demeanor to yell at him, to berate him. You could see how scared Luffy was that something bad was gonna happen. But what does Zeff say?
You're lousy at it, but at least you do as you're told in this kitchen.
Instead of even berating at him, he's just honest, because he's probably not the best of dishwashers that he's had. He's kind of probably new at it. He still gives him a compliment after he broke a whole bunch of dishes, which are probably hard to get. But that's the kind of thing, is that you don't expect it from Zeff. And that's what makes him such an interesting character, because he has these many layers to him that aren't exactly what you would expect.
If you think Sanji's gonna give up on his dream because of you, then forget it.
Excuse me?
For Zeff, he's like, you give that head tilt, and that head tilt is often that I don't understand what's happening. Dogs do exactly the same thing when they're like, I don't know what you're saying to me. It's not computing. That thought that he's going to be the cause of him giving up on his dreams, it's not even something that occurred to him. Sometimes we need to have a look on the outside source to be able to see things a little bit more clearly. Sometimes we're too much inside of the fishbowl to know what's happening on the outside or the effects that the fishbowl is having on others and those around us.
You hurt me. You may have banned him from the line, but you can't stop him from cooking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. This starving pirate washed up earlier, and you know what Sanji did? He cooked for him, right here in your kitchen, because your rules matter less to him than making sure a hungry man got fed.
And for Luffy, he's expecting to have this explosive response that he's saying, oh my goodness, he went against your rules, and expecting him to be angry about it. But I love Zeff's response. This is what shows who Zeff really is.
He did that, did he? What a good kid.
Like, that moment was Zeff, instead of being pirate or a captain or the head chef, that was Zeff being a dad, proud of Sanji for who he is, who he has brought him up to be.
Volute. No.
Do you see it? Instead of weapons, Zeff has herbs. All of his armaments are like little herb bottles. It's the best little touch that I completely missed until I rewatched this scene.
Needs oregano.
And here they are, they're like boarding the ship, and the one thing that he's caring about is making sure that there's some more oregano in the volute.
Oregano for sandwiches!
Nice try, little eggplant.
And now you know where the little eggplant comes from. He called him that from the beginning.
Now, how do you want to die? Quick or slow?
Who cares? I'd rather die than have you season my food.
You see, Sanji's kind of spunk that, like, what matters to him, how much he matters, that, like, food is life to him. I love it.
You made that? That's not half bad.
Better than anything you can make, your bag.
You got a sharp tongue on you.
He's got that passion inside of him.
What happened?
Storm. They're all dead. Except for us.
What do we do?
We wait. Hope that a passing ship spots us before that sun bleaches our bones.
When we're in these life or death situations, it's often when you can find out, when times are tough, you can really see what someone's character is without all of the other pieces that are kind of at play. So it's often in times of struggle or difficulty when the chips are down that we know who someone really is. In these kind of situations, often when things are plentiful, people can be really nice. When things are going their way, they can be really nice. But when they're going through this stressful or distressed situation, when there's a scarcity of resources, that's when we can often see the worst of us kind of come out. And that's what situation they're both in, stuck on this island alone with no hope in sight.
So eat slow. There's no more after this.
Why do you get the bigger one?
Because I'm 3 times your size, that's why. You know something? You should be glad that I'm giving you anything at all. Now go over to the other side and keep a lookout. And I mean it. Don't you bother me unless you see a ship. You got it?
Sanji still has all of this passion and fire, him even in this situation, him demanding to have equal shares. You can tell that justice is something that bothers him a lot. And for Zeff, the amount of honor that he shows without sharing it, without putting it on his sleeve. A lot of people, when they do something good or if they give to charity, they want to tell everyone else. They want other people's affirmation to say how self-sacrificing and what a martyr I am for a cause. For Zeff, no, he has this restraint of he's going to do what he thinks is right. He doesn't care if anyone else knows. And actually, he probably would rather if people don't know. He does this on the quiet, which makes me like Zeff so much more than I would have if it was the opposite way. And he shows this gruff demeanor to make sure that Sanji listens because he already knows Sanji's personality because it's his personality when he was young. And so because of that, because they're the similar personality traits, he knows that he has to come off very harsh. If not, he will not listen to him and it could risk both of their lives. But in the end, you know that he just wants to make sure that Sanji can live. And what happens to us when we're alone, isolated, and scared is that all of our negative thoughts often kind of come back to haunt us. That's when we're asleep, when there's no distractions, when there's too much time to think, we can often ponder what we want to do with our life. What do we want to do with it? What is meant for us? And also go through all of our past mistakes and regrets. And a lot of that can happen in times, especially when we add the distress of such a stressful situation, when food is scarce at the same time, and survival will depend on every single moment.
Told you to stay put.
You still have some food. You gotta give me some. Where is it?
The beautiful moment of realizing that Zeff sacrificed all the food for Sanji was just so beautiful, so poignant, because in this time people would be at the worst, and he's a pirate, so you wouldn't expect that from him. And I love characters that have so many more layers than what you expect, but also you would think, well, why would he do this? Why would he do this for Sanji, just a little boy that he just met?
There's no food! How are you still alive? Your leg! What happened?
The realization that he also then didn't just risk his life, but he sacrificed his leg for it. One, just have to say, disclaimer, it wouldn't be a good idea to sacrifice your leg. The amount of blood loss in itself would have been really dangerous and lessen your chances of survival, plus all of the chances of infection. Anyways, but that beauty of that moment that he did that for him, and to see Sanji's face of like incredulity, how anyone would, that he's never been in a relationship or known anyone that would do that for them, I think is so beautiful and poignant.
You ate your own leg? You gave me all the food. Why? You don't even know me. Why would you do that for a stranger?
Because you're an eggplant. I have been searching for the All Blue my whole life.
You hear the difference in his tone when he says it now. Now that term, little eggplant, something that he often uses that seems demeaning, you can tell that it's actually really loving. It's that caring tone of like a father to a child.
But now my time has come to an end. You share the same dream as me. Believe me, the All Blue is real.
I think that it's more than just they share the same dream. It's that he sees a lot of himself and his hopes and dreams that are kind of encapsulated in this little boy that reminds him of himself, that his dream can live on through this other person. And that's a lot of what parenting is about being able to teach someone to do better, to be better than who we are. And that's a beautiful trait that Zeff has, that he is willing to self-sacrifice to deal with it, but he has also this forethought of that it's the next generation that it's so important for.
And if I can't find it, well, then maybe you can. So I'm gonna need you to live on. And I'm gonna need you to fulfill that dream. For both of us. That
Realization on Sanji's face that someone would do this, that bond that they have together, then now you look back on all of those moments that they had that at first you probably, if you haven't read the manga, you're probably looking back on all of those pieces as how harsh and rough they were together and how they have this contentious relationship and he's not happy there. And now it's kind of flavored with all of this love and care, this cantankerous, loving relationship that they have together.
You have any idea what that's like? Having someone lose a limb to save your life?
And definitely, though, someone can use doing something for you as like holding it over you to be able to manipulate and control you. But that doesn't seem to be what relationship Sanji and Zeff actually have, even though it might look that way on the surface. For Sanji, he feels an obligation to take care of Zeff because Zeff took care of him. He risked his life for him, and so that's what he wants to do for Zeff. Also, they have this bond from going through this traumatic experience together. And also from spending all this time together. And I don't think that he wants to abandon him.
I don't need you to do that.
I'm just helping you clean up.
Yeah, but no one asked you to, did they? So get out of my restaurant now.
I've already told you I'm not going to be a waiter.
You're not going to be anything, not if you stay here. I did not save your life so you could waste it at Baratier.
It's not like I can just leave.
Why the hell not?
Because you couldn't run this place without me.
Oh, please.
See that obligation, that bond that they both have with each other, he doesn't want to leave him because it's going to be difficult for him, because he only has one leg, because of all of these reasons of feeling obligated to do something. And so because of that, he's willing to give up all of his hopes and dreams because he feels that Zeff has done that for him also.
Please, little eggplant, your cooking is for
Well, at least I don't drown everything in oregano.
Yeah,
Cute little joke that comes back constantly.
well, at least I'm not the one who goes on moaning about the all blue. You've been yammering on about that since you was a snotty-nosed little brat.
But you see, I see all of these words with such love. I don't see them, even though they're even sent with some aggression and vitriol, but there's love behind each of them that are there. And sometimes people miss all of the nuance in the way that we say things and why we say them. He's trying to push him away so that he can live his dream, so he doesn't have to feel guilty. He doesn't have to feel bad for him. And sometimes people do that and say it in a way that's more aggressive so that other people can leave without feeling bad about it. And they both seem to carry that kind of like a shield.
Well, I tell you now, if it means that much to you, go find it.
Look, do you want me to quit? Is that what you want?
Quitting is staying here.
That's like the most beautiful statement that he said. Giving up on his dream would be quitting.
Don't you get it? It's one thing to have a dream, it's another to go after it.
Yeah, well, Chore Boy offered me a spot on his crew. Maybe I take him up on that offer.
You want my permission? You got it.
Fine!
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 Let's go back and actually take a look at that again, because you can see the looks of emotion that Zeff goes through, that resolved of, oh my God, he's gone, and sadness, but also that bittersweet kind of happiness that at least he knows that he's going to have a chance at his dream. And the realization that that's going to be the last moment, that last interaction between them, was the part that was the hardest for me, because it was a moment where they didn't really get to say anything to each other. So I was really worried about it. And him watching Sanji leave, like that he, like, you know, and he's hobbling, like, you know, it's difficult for him to get there, but he wanted to make sure that he got there, to make sure that he was sent off. And I think that he waited, might be my own production, but I think that he waited till he was on the ship so that Sanji would go, because I think that he would be worried that if he saw him, he might change his mind because of guilt or because of obligation and stay there instead of pursuing his dream. So he wanted to make sure that he didn't see him until he boarded the ship. You see him like doing the little look thing, like wanting to, like, where is he? He's somewhere there, isn't he?
Hey, Sanji!
That was probably a lot for him to call out to him when he turned away, because their usual interactions is not affectionate, which is common for many relationships, that they're not outwardly affectionate because it wasn't considered manly or tough enough, or that emotions were a sign of weakness. And especially you could see with pirates that that would be the norm, that they had to keep that gruff exterior because if they showed any signs of weaknesses, their crew might notice it, or someone that wanted to usurp them would notice that and take advantage of it.
You keep your feet dry.
It was like his loving words. Keep his feet dry. But you know what it means, right? To keep stay on in safety on dry land, keep his feet, the ship doesn't crash, nothing bad happens to him.
Goodbye, Zeff. You know, all these years, living under your roof, cooking at your restaurant, I owe you my life. Thank you for putting up with my shit all these years, old man. I'll never forget you, Zeff.
And I think that was just really beautiful between both of them. Those little tiny moments of sharing. I'm so happy that they had kind of that resolution. I think that they are my favorite parental relationship, and it's something beautiful about One Piece is that even though for a lot of the people in the crew, they all had really these horrible broken relationships, but each of them had also this wonderful parental figure that was able to kind of guide them and help show them which ways of their dreams. And I think that that's one of the real beautiful things about One Piece as well. If you like this video, you can also check out my Arcane and Wednesday Season 1 compilation, ad-free, sponsor-free, only on Nebula, just like all my videos on Nebula. And that's the whole purpose of Nebula. It's a place where you can get videos that creators can post early, post extended versions, post videos that would never work on YouTube. Creators like Legal Eagle, Nando V Movies, Alt Shift X, Medlife Crisis, and so many more. I've been posting all of my compilation videos like The Last of Us, The Jinx Saga, Vox Machina, early on Nebula. And I also have an entire course on how to beat anxiety, where I go through all of my tips and techniques on dealing with anxiety so that you can manage it and live a better life. And that's also available on Nebula classes. And on Nebula, you can also get amazing exclusive originals like how they adapted The Lord of the Rings and The Time When, and so many more amazing videos. And they're all ad-free, sponsor-free, and you can sign up using my exclusive link below, where you can get an annual plan of Nebula for 40% off, $250 a month, $30 a year, just by clicking on that link. And if you click on that link, it really does help out my channel, so thank you. And it's all early access, extended versions, all the originals, all from amazing Nebula creators, all by just clicking on the link below. Thank you so much for your support, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So that's my feelings on Sanji and Zeff, and they're my favorite parental relationship on the show. You can let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below.